Hey, my name is Matthew Foley. I'm a product creator and also an executive function coach. I don't record videos very often, so sorry if I act a little goofy or a little awkward. But yeah, let's run through it. With this personality profile, what this is, I'm hoping to do this within about 3 or 5 minutes. But the goal of this personality profile is essentially to create a list of your strengths, weaknesses, values, beliefs, interests, skills, and work preferences, as you can see below. The goal, though, is to not necessarily, if you have to use the examples that are listed, of course, use those examples. But if you can, just off the top of your head, or even if you see a strength and you have a pivoting idea, the goal is essentially to create a list that is most authentic to you and what you identify with. So the list is more of an example rather than these are the only options that exist. There's probably a ton of other strengths, weaknesses, so forth that exist, in this world. But this is just a list to kind of start sparking some ideas of what those areas could be for you. So that's kind of what this instruction says. The next piece is I would say to just use this template because I've already created it. It's easy to use. But the key piece right here is to make your own copy because you're not going to be able to with I have access to this, so obviously I'm able to edit, but you may not have access to edit. So you're going to want to make a copy. So what I would do right here is just say, for me, I would just do Matt's, create a copy, and then from here, you essentially have a template to start adding all of your strengths, weaknesses, values, and so forth, right? So now you're going to go here back, and the goal is to go through each of these lists and just, again, just pick what you identify with. So I'm not going to do that because it's going to take a ton of time. But essentially, what it's going to look like is where this example is right here. You can see Jordan's profile. This is what his list would look like for each topic. So then after you go through that, right, the next piece would be to then go through the self-assessment. So this self-assessment is now you're taking that list. You have all of those areas that you identify with and resonate with, and you then use those lists as a way to be able to better answer these questions. So the purpose of this, right, and as I mentioned here, right, like you don't have to answer all the questions, just choose two or three at least, just because the purpose of creating this information is essentially once you have this information in place, it's going to allow you to utilize it in different ways. So whether that's creating like we can further explore like certain personal aspects about yourself. We can further explore career opportunities. We can further explore your passions or what your interests are, like, any of these things, right? But this is the information, and what you're going to be working through here is literally just a base and a foundation for other opportunities to explore. So again, this is a really cool tool. As you can see, tons of different questions. The goal is per section to answer 2 to 3. And then once you have that completed, right, then this, I believe I updated it, yes. But this would be the example of the entire piece, right? So now you have your questions or your list of each category, and then you even have areas that you've answered. And then what the goal is from here is what I've been doing, at least we could, if we were to work together, or if you just want to do it yourself, you can actually use AI and prompt it in different ways to analyze this information and to utilize it in interesting ways. So again, like I have my own program that I work with people through, but at the same time, like you don't have to use my program. Although I would be happy to help anybody. If anybody has questions, we don't have to be in a session for me to be able to, hop on a quick call and talk, or if you have any questions or even feedback about how I can improve this assessment. But yeah, just kind of wanted to put this content out there. I hope this video kind of gives you a quick tutorial of how to work through things. Probably should have mentioned it before, but if you need to go back, feel free to pause, work through sections, and then pick back up once you're ready for the next step. My guess is that this could probably take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to complete. And don't feel like you have to complete this all at once. You could just plot this out over a 3-week period, over 3 days. But essentially, you can just work 1 hour at a time to kind of break this down to make it a little bit more manageable if you don't want to spend a full 3 hours towards this. And another cool thing too is that this is a what this information, once you have this foundation, you can come back and update it. Like maybe 6 months from now, you look at this information, you're like, this doesn't really align with where I'm at in life right now, right? So you can continue to update it, and that's, while continuing to revise this, 6 month periods or 3 months periods or year periods of time, right? You're going to be able to really be able to refine this information that you have, and again, just continue to be able to utilize it the way that you want to. So yeah, yeah, I'm pretty excited. Just to kind of even show you real quick, at least I think I should be able to, maybe not. Um, let's see. Yeah. But yeah, just like to kind of show you, right? Like there are additional resources here. Some of these are essentially kind of like the same thing, right? Like these are where you could pull other strengths and weaknesses. I'd say the list above kind of has all that information, but the reason why I created this was because most of the time you either have to pay for a service like this, or you would have to rotate through, 6 to 8 different websites just to be able to get the same information. So I figured it would be cool to create a free resource for people to where they don't have to go through all of that, and it's just a lot more compact and easier to kind of jump into. So yeah, again, my name is Matthew Foley. The company, if you are interested in just reaching out or talking further, I have a link right here called Growth Mind Co. That's my coaching business. The goal with this business is to provide services, but also to be building technology and digital tools like this. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good day and enjoy.